Hey, what's going on, Jets fans? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be discussing two prospects who I feel like should be in the same video, even though they're completely different players, only because I kind of feel the same way about them, and that's kind of 50-50 on them. So those two prospects I'm talking about, as you can already tell by the title of the video, is going to be Kristan Vasalainen and Logan Stanley. Now, here's the thing. I just made recently a prospect ranking video, which I will leave in the description, so you can check that out if you're interested in watching that. I rank all 20 of the Winnipeg Jets' best prospects, in my opinion, or more importantly, best players that they have in the system. And I put these two both as the kind of the A players, like our top players, our top prospects. And I kind of feel that they are and they're not at the same time, and it's very weird with these two, and I'm going to kind of go into it. I put, like usual, I put the stats of the players up on screen so you all could follow along with me as I go through it, but I want to kind of start with Kristan Vasalainen. And if you look at his stats, we all see how well he played and why the Jets took him where they did at the I guess it would have been 2017-2018 draft. I think that's where he would have been drafted. And you look at his stats, and they're good. He's a good player, good development, all that type of stuff. But where it gets into an issue is the fact that he left last season. Last season, Kristan Vasalainen did not play with the Moose, and he did not play with the Winnipeg Jets. And the games that he did play with the Moose, he didn't look very good in them. And there's a reason for all of that. It's because he didn't want to play on the AHL team. He wanted to go back to Russia. And when he went back to the KHL, unfortunately, there was some issues with it. Yes, he played well, but he had issues adapting to the ice back when he came back. And that's kind of why Kristan Vasalainen is in this video, and I'm kind of 50 on him still. Yes, he has the high skill level. Yes, he's still a great player. The only issues is he's been set back in his development now to become an NHL player. Now, yes, this season he's played well for the Moose. He played in 60 games, had 12 goals, 18 assists, and he didn't, I think he got called up. Actually, no, he got called up, but he did not play with the team. So he has yet to play in the NHL this season. That's not good. Kristan Vasalainen should have been a consistent call-up, but guys like Jansen Harkins overtook him and has proven that they can play just as well as where they needed Vesalainen to play. And he can also, Harkins is kind of proving himself to be a better call-up, because now Harkins can plug himself into anywhere in the lineup when Vesalainen is more of a skillful player and kind of won't mesh in those bottom six roles on those kind of lines, especially with Adam Lowry and Andrew Kopp. I don't see him fitting in well with those type of guys. Now, the issue is, yes, like I've said before in the past, like the last couple minutes, that is the big issue with him not being able to develop to North American game and to North American ice. But Logan Stanley, on the other hand, he's kind of trending towards bust, but I still have hope in him only because the Winnipeg Jets have technically not had a first-round bust yet. But these two picks right here are very, very weird. They could become the big bust the Jets haven't had since coming back to Winnipeg, or they could prove to be long-term development pieces. Logan Stanley has never been called up to the NHL yet. He's played well in juniors. He's come up and played decent with the Moose, but except this season, if you look at Logan Stanley's stats in juniors, it's kind of alarming. He put up good offensive numbers as he played longer, but his plus-minus kind of, went from being that bad 25 in his first year with Windsor going up to being a 6, a 2, and a 7, respectfully. But then you get to the Moose, and a higher level offensive players, and higher pace, and everything like that, and the numbers are very concerning. He's a -9 in his first season with the Moose in 2018-19, putting up only 22 points, playing 73 games. Now, that's not bad for a big defenseman, but he is also supposed to have the ability to put up points. Get into this season, before it was suspended, 44 games played with the Moose, putting him up 10 points, 73 penalty minutes, and of course, a -17. This was supposed to be his big year, and for a guy, if he's not going to produce points at an high NHL defenseman rate, that's okay. You don't need to. But you got to be an efficient defenseman, especially with that size. And -17, yes, it is not an accurate stat compared to where they actually play and how well they play defense, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. Being a -17 is not where you want to be. And if you look at Vesalainen, he's also a -16, and that has to do with the fact that Vesalainen is adapting still back to North American ice. But Logan Stanley should be well aware of where he's at and should be pushing very hard to make the Jets. I frankly thought he would make the team this year with how bad the defense looked. But when they picked Anthony Bitetto over Logan Stanley after I almost spent spring training again, after preseason, that is pretty bad. That is not where you want to be as a first-round pick getting passed by Anthony Bitetto on the depth chart. That's not a good look. But I still think he has the ability to play well in the NHL at a level. I still think he will make the team. I kind of think Logan Stanley is kind of like Ola Juolevi in the fact that a lot of Jets fans, as a lot of Canucks fans with Juolevi, want to move on from him. But I still have hope that there is a chance that he can make the strides to becoming a good player. The thing that sucks, though, is now because of COVID-19 and all of sports being suspended, he has lost this development. And this was a huge, huge year for him to make that step. He was not really showing it to begin with before the suspension, and now that the league is suspended indefinitely, what is he gonna do? Vesalainen, on the other hand, it affects him just as the same, not only because it lacks, he's not playing, he's not developing. Obviously, that happens with every player, including NHL caliber players. But the issue with Vesalainen is that just another year now where he's behind. He missed a whole year of development with the club. What happened? He had to start again this year, and it showed that he was, lacking. You get into this year, and you get further down the road, he's starting to play a little bit better, but, it's still not good. If you had given him a full year development here, and he comes back next year, better player. You take away those games this year and just make him come back in 6-7 months from now, same player he was when he started this season. It's just an abusive cycle what we have with these two prospects. They really, really just keep kind of screwing it for themselves, but they also still have that high skill level. Vesalainen has a high skill level still. I'm not saying the kid doesn't have great talent. He just screwed himself over by deciding to go back to Russia. Not a good choice. He should not have done that. He should have been smart, and the Jets should have pushed harder at keeping him with the club. Now, with Logan Stanley, on the other hand, I feel like the Jets missed their opportunity by not giving him a chance with the club this year. Especially at the start of the season. Ville Heinola got a shot with the team. Why not give Logan Stanley a shot with the team? They had nothing to lose but give him confidence, and they blew it. Now, I know he's not been the best with the Moose, but you got to give at some point, you got to start giving these type of first-round picks, you got to give them chances to prove themselves at the NHL level. Logan Stanley has not played at all since being drafted. That's bad. That is really bad. Same with Juolevi. That is bad as well. Both the Canucks and Jets need to realize that just giving the players the opportunity to prove themselves at the NHL level might indefinitely give them an opportunity. Now, Vesalainen has only played 5 NHL games, putting up 1 assist. Now, he is in the same type of boat as Stanley, but the thing is, though, at least he's played 5 games, and with all of that stuff, right? So I give him that. Now, when it comes to be really interesting with Logan Stanley, since I've already said he doesn't play any games, that's the big issue with it. Both of these players need to develop more on the Moose. And not only do they need to develop on the Moose, but they need to be given chances to practice and play with the Jets. NHL development comes with NHL games. I cannot stress that enough. That sounds stupid, but a lot of people think, well, if you're good in the AHL, you should be good in the NHL. That doesn't mean anything. The AHL is a different league. Is it a higher ceiling than the WHL, than the CHL, than the OHL? Absolutely. Does it mean that it's not still the highest level of hockey in the world? Yes, it's not the highest level of hockey in the world. And because of that, you could be an amazing player in the A, but not be an amazing NHLer. And that is just a simple facts. These guys can keep putting up these okay numbers in the A and develop better. This doesn't really affect the Kristan Vasalainen as much as more Logan Stanley, but it falls under the same category nonetheless. You got to give guys an opportunity to prove themselves. Vesalainen's been playing well. They called him up, but they didn't play him. Well, that sucks. Logan Stanley, on the other hand, playing okay, but doesn't get any chances and gets passed on the depth chart. Now, am I saying it's not important to develop other players and just primarily focus on guys who aren't good and give them more opportunities? No. And I understand that that's not how a team functions. Any logical hockey fan and sports fan gets that. But where it comes to be something interesting with Logan Stanley is that why are you giving Anthony Bitetto, who's proven to be one of the worst defensemen in the NHL, an opportunity compared to a guy who hasn't proven anything in the NHL, who is hungry to prove himself? That's where I kind of get upset, and this is why this prospect profile, I decided to comment into both videos. Vesalainen, great player, a lot of potential, screwed himself over in development. Stanley, okay player, needing to develop as much as more as he can, but kind of being stopped by the team not giving him more opportunities. These players kind of both fall under the same category in a sense when you think about it. They both have high skill levels, but are being screwed over in different ways. Vesalainen is screwing himself. Stanley, on the other hand, is screwing himself, and the team isn't helping either by not giving him any opportunities to prove himself with the Jets at all. I don't care what any fan says. I would way have rather seen Logan Stanley and Ville Heinola starting with the Jets defense than keeping Anthony Bitetto starting with the D. Lucas Spiza is your best option. You would rather claim Lucas Spiza off waivers than effectively call up some guys in the A and give them an opportunity. They did the same thing with Nelson Nogier by not calling him up and playing him enough, and Logan Stanley is just going to end up being a career AHLer that we took with the 16th, 15th pick. That's not right. We should be developing these guys with opportunities. There's no reason to take other players over Logan Stanley in the depth chart, especially considering what's the difference between having Logan Stanley being your sixth defenseman and a guy like Bitetto. I would way rather have Logan Stanley because at least he's got something to prove and will play with some edge and speed. Vesalainen, on the other hand, I give the team a bit of a pass by not showing him. Vesalainen is more of a let's see where he can go, but he's being screwed by just bad luck and bad mistakes. Logan Stanley, on the other hand, is just not getting the opportunities that he deserves because, let's be honest, those numbers aren't the best, but he's still a very huge presence on the ice, and we have no Bufflin. We have no physical presence on this team. Why not bring him up and play him? I don't understand it, and I don't understand not playing Vesalainen either. Call him up, play him, and let's see how it goes. Now, does that mean don't call up Jansen Harkins? Not at all. You play different guys, you see how different guys mesh with the teams. And they're not doing that. They're just playing the same guys. And Paul Maurice has this structure. Mark Letestu, no, Ray Bork, whatever the Bork, I don't even remember his first name because he's just a complete scrub. And we're playing him. Why? Vesalainen is a way higher skilled player than any of those guys, but you're not going to give him an opportunity. Now, yes, they both need opportunities like every other player, but these guys have the skill level, and they're not being given a chance, and it sucks. Because I would way rather see Logan Stanley out in that blue line making mistakes than watching Anthony Bitetto making mistakes, because at least then there's a bit of development and learning with it. The guy's trying to make it. Anthony Bitetto was... What is he going to do with this opportunity the Jets have given him this season? Prove how much of a shitty, okay defender he can be on nights? The league knows that. He's an established guy. He's an established AHL bench press box type of defenseman. Logan Stanley isn't. You can develop that. Vesalainen isn't. You can change that narrative. But they don't. And that's the biggest issue with both these two players, is that until the Jets and themselves acknowledge the fact that they need a little bit more development to get to that next step, they're not going anywhere. And these guys can go from A prospects to F prospects in literally a year because of that. It's huge to respect prospects and giving it opportunities. Even if they don't show it that much and other players do, you got to give it something. You got to throw a dog a bone every once in a while, and the Jets are not doing that with these players at all. And that's kind of why I want to take this time to talk about it. If you guys agree with any of my points in this video, make sure to comment below. If you disagree, comment below as well. I would love to hear all sides of this argument because for me, I look at it with this point of view, but other people do not. With that being said, as always, guys, take care, stay safe out there. Make sure you wash your hands and everything like that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace out. Bye.